Good morning, everybody. I tell you what, today's lessons is all about culture. You want to have a competitive advantage over everyone else? Fix your culture first. How many of you guys or ladies have a culture that is absolutely fantastic? You love going to work, and everybody else loves going to work as well. That's how it should be with with your company. So you need to learn how to energize your employees. Let's talk about culture. Corporate culture refers to the beliefs and behaviors that determine how a company's associates and management interact and handle business. So, exactly what does that mean? You know what? If you have a fantastic team, fantastic culture with the team, and they go out and they interact with your clients, then you have happy clients because the clients are much happier if your team has a fantastic culture. Give you a great example. When I first started in the plumbing industry, I bought a plumbing company that was actually doing pathetic. It was one of the plumbing companies that a franchise owned. It was the only franchise owned plumbing company that they had, and it was doing awful. Culture was bad there. Everything was terrible. First day that I bought it, I go into business and I'm thinking, man, this is going to be great. I'm going into a fantastic culture. I'm going into a fantastic workplace. First day that I bought it, I ended up having to get rid of two people. The reason why I had to get rid of two people is because they were bad apples in that barrel, and those two bad apples in the barrel were going to ruin the whole barrel if I didn't watch it, and it would ruin the whole barrel very, very quickly. Give you another example. I was working for a company before we started Blue Frog Plumbing and Drain. And I worked from home for probably 6 months or 4, 5, 6 months before I moved to Phoenix. And I moved from Sarasota, Florida to Phoenix. And so, in other words, I moved from the ocean to the desert. When I moved to Phoenix, it was very, very different, but they did have a fantastic culture. Let me tell you, when I first got there, I'd been working for the company for about 6 months, and yeah, I was real nervous, and I was thinking about this. And the first day that I went to work at the new office, I thought, man, what is this going to be like? I hope this is going to be a great workplace, and I know that the company is a great company. And I hope this is going to be a great workplace. So I get in, and I did some more orientation, and they walked me around, and they introduced me to everybody, and then they took me to my office. And this is what you see. I had a desk, I had a chair, and the chair was a bidet toilet. They gave me a crown to wear on my head. They gave me a plunger, and they said, "You're the king of poop. So this is your office, king of poop's office." And so we had a great time. And anyway, they built the culture really, really good. So it's all about culture, guys. Do you want to have energized employees, or do you want to have employees going out and building the culture on their own? See, culture is the foundation upon your company is built. In other words, you can build a culture, and the foundation that you build is what you're going to get. You can create this culture into your business, or or the culture will create itself. What I mean by this is either you're creating the culture or some of your employees are creating that culture for you. And chances are, if the employees are creating that culture, it's not a very good culture. It's the gossip, the talk behind your back, the talk behind everybody else's back, and what everybody else is doing, and not a very energized and very great workplace to go to work. So, you know what? You need to achieve that award-winning culture, and you need to start with a great foundation. Let's name some of the companies that you feel like have a great brand or a great culture in their brand. Some of it might be positive and some of it might not even be positive. And let's talk about some of these companies and what they really have. Now, I'm going to talk about the number one company first, and that's Blue Frog Plumbing and Drain here because, like I said, we have a fantastic culture. We work great together. We have a fantastic team. We do things together. We build this team. If Robin needs something, she gives me a call. She gave me a call this morning, and we were talking about culture, and we were talking about some things that the franchisees need to do and how we can get them to do these things that will help them in their business. In other words, so it will give them the competitive advantage in their business. And we were talking about just building the organizational health check and taking that organizational health check test and getting everyone on the team to do that and building their team in a positive way. Let's talk about some of these other brands. Like I said, Blue Frog is a fantastic brand to work for. I think that we have a fantastic logo, and I think that it's all great. Here's a few examples of some good ones. Let's talk about Zappos. Zappos, whatever how you want to pronounce it. Man, this is a very innovative brand. Very, very innovative. I was watching a thing on TV the other day about Zappos, and it was talking about how innovative that is. How many of you use Google? I mean, we probably use Google a dozen, 2 dozen times every single day. Nordstrom. What do you think about Nordstrom? You know what first comes to mind when I think about Nordstrom? More expensive, nicer things, a great reputation. Ray-Ban. About probably 10 years ago, I bought a pair of Ray-Ban, and these were just driving glasses. It wasn't for golf. They weren't sporty. They were just dark driving glasses. And I still have my Ray-Ban glasses in my case, in my glove box, in my car. And when it is sunny and I'm driving, I put on my Ray-Ban glasses. Amazon is another one. We use Amazon all the time. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's really becoming a giant today, as is Coca-Cola versus Pepsi. You've got some positives and some negatives there, but both of them I see as a positive to me. And then you have Apple. And how many of you have an Apple phone? How many of you have an Apple Watch? How many of you have Apple things? See, I've got an Apple phone. Most of us have Apple, or at least you've heard of Apple. I've got a friend of mine that every time something new comes out with Apple, he has to have that quick. And so it's very, very positive for him. Or how many of us have businesses like this? Not so positive, are they? Toys R Us. You know, at one time, I thought it was a great business. Sears. I mean, look at Sears. I've gone into Sears for years, and this weekend it was a little cold here, so we went into the mall to walk around just a little bit, and Sears is almost closed. It's closing in March, or at least the one here is. Probably half of their merchandise was already gone. It's sad, but they're closing. They didn't keep up with times. Blockbuster Video. You know, a lot of these places are going out of business. Kodak, bankruptcy. Why? Did they not keep up with times? Were they not innovative enough? And of course, the picture in the middle of the plumber with the crack showing, you know what, guys, that's not very good. And a lot of times we prevail this image, and I've seen this in the field, and I've seen some of our managers wear jeans. I've seen some of our managers wear t-shirts. We need to be on that leading edge. We need to look like $1 million. We need to have that image that we are worth more. Okay. We need to energize our employees and make it fun. We need to focus on their behavior and their behavioral changes, and we need to make this fun for them. You want a competitive advantage in your company? You want to hire people easier? You want people to come by and want to go to work for you? Man, this culture is very, very important. So please think about the culture in your company. If we get results and if we're caring, if we're a result-driven company and we're a very caring company and we educate our clients and we build this positive image instead of a negative image, this is much more positive. This is much more negative. We certainly don't want to go here. So let's build a positive image. And in doing that, we'll have a much easier road ahead of us. Okay. Why is culture so important? It sets the tone and atmosphere. Decisions become much, much easier. Okay. Team will know what is expected of them. It must serve a purpose, not just words, not just signs on the wall. We have to have a purpose. We have to know the why behind why we're doing this. And it avoids hiring and keeping the wrong associates. Make hiring much, much easier because people will come by and want to go to work for you. Who will set the culture in your company or at your company? Are you going to set that culture, or is a poor or bad employee going to set that culture? So I asked you right now to look at that. And I asked you to see who's going to build that. I want you to build a great team and a great culture, and we'll talk about this later. So right now, I want you to have a little homework for me. The homework is, I want to know what your culture's like. I want to know some of the things that you're doing for your culture to be exciting and fun and energized. I want to know some of the things that the people are saying about your company. See, I've been in every one of these franchises. And I want to know how I can help you set the tone of this culture. And I want you to make sure that you have energized employees. I want you to achieve a winning culture and focus on that. So until next time, guys, thank you very much. Have a great day. Be sure and do your homework, and we'll talk about your homework on the next lesson. Thank you so much.